Hey everybody, it's Sunday, May 22nd, 2016, just about an hour before Globex opens. Thought I would kick out a weekend trader video, so welcome. If my sound is a bit different tonight, it's because I have a new mic, new headset. So it's not my voice that has dropped perhaps, but it is all technology. If it sounds a bit bassy, my last headset, I don't know if it was because I was getting a bit animated during the jelly training class a few weeks ago, but it cut out on me midweek, and those that were in the tank will recall I did have a backup, and lesson number one in anything that you're doing, always have a backup, whether it's internet connectivity backup if you're trading, whether it's a separate charting platform, a separate broker. Always have redundancy, and thank goodness for that particular effort anyway. It was important to have a backup microphone, which fortunately worked. But anyway, we got that remedied, and here we go. So I want to do a couple of things. We'll keep this fairly brief because, frankly, trading is starting for me in about 45 minutes. My workday starts. But I want to, first of all, thank those that were involved in the Jelly Team number 13. We've done 13 of these now for a great week. I have tremendous respect and love for all of you, the time that you put into it, the involvement, the engagement. I know I posted one note that I received from one of the traders midweek on the site. I think it's in the post right before this one. But it's just wonderful. We had an average age, I think it was about 50 or so, and that's right in line with interestingly enough, the average age of all the Jelly participants over the years, which has been about 53. Folks that have been very successful in other walks of life, people that are mature, that get it, no BS, are there for a purpose, and it's just wonderful to work with groups of people like that, which is another reason I choose not to broadcast or chase ambulances, if you will. I really want to work with those people that are taking this very seriously and understand the nature of it. And so anyway, it was good. I appreciate it. Thank you all for your engagement. Will we keep doing these? Feedback suggests we will, maybe once a year. I know some of you asked me, but we'll just let time dictate. I never have plans to do multiple sessions. I just try to, like trading, just take it one step at a time. But I want to talk about something more importantly tonight that really I think gets at the heart of trading, and something that is not discussed much, certainly not given its due in the age of screen trading. And hear me out on this. And we got into this during the past week, and I was reminded to really talk to the general public more about this. So you think back to the days of floor trading, right? Pits and locals and people that had a significant amount of expertise in their particular product. The emotion, the noise level or lack thereof on the floor in the pits at any given point in time really was the driver for a lot of trading back then. Now, certainly there was statistical trading, there was market profile, volume profiles, and there's been a morphing to that over time, but a lot of that obviously was in place at that time. But frankly, it's a bit like, the light is green or yellow or red. And when the light is green, you see people there. You see people, basically stomping on the accelerator, reading the emotion in the general area, reading the emotion of others, whether it's extreme emotion or whether it's the emotion building. And that's how trading was done for a long, long time. Now, those of us, including myself, that grew up on screen-based trading, I know a lot of floor traders. I've worked with a lot of floor traders. I have never been a floor trader myself. I grew up with screen trading, so I didn't have to make that transition. But the funny thing is, to me, it's really no different. It's no different. It's just using a bit of a different sense to gain the momentum and the emotion in the marketplace and that which is driving the market behavior. And one of the frustrations and something that I don't quite understand with all the talk about algos, and all the talk about setups, trade calls that you hear about all the time. This is a very simple business, folks. And one of the reasons I never get involved in the call business is because it's not important to determine when the light is going to turn red or is going to turn green. It's important, though, that when it does turn green, let's say, to use that choice, that you hit the accelerator and you stop on it. Okay? It doesn't matter to me. I don't know where the market's going to open today, whether it opens at, 2045, 2055, 2065, 20. The point is, have a stoplight that gives you the very simplicity of this business, which is there emotion? Is the emotion starting to build? Is it starting to wane? Where are you? Put yourself in that virtual pit. And to me, that's trading. That's trading. So it's being in tune with that traffic light. It's being in tune with the market emotion, whatever stage it may be in. And certainly being ready for that. And that's where I think statistical trading and general areas of support and volume can be very important. But they're not the ultimate importance. The ultimate importance is that just be there. Be there and act when it does appear. Okay, so we've talked a lot in the recent couple of years about things like the F6 screen, which is basically what are the large traders doing, if you choose to filter it that way, or if it's just a delta for all traders, representing the actions of all traders. What is that net activity like at a given point in time? And that's it. And I think that again, one of the discoveries, if you will, of a lot of the people, and this has been common throughout all 13 programs, is the simplicity of that. And I don't know whether it's because, when we as an industry moved more towards screen basis, the pits are basically closing and everything, that people felt that had to change. You couldn't hear, you couldn't see anymore. Well, I do see. I grew up on screen trading, so I look at a chart, and as I told the team, I see traders. I can hear, I can sense. I may not be able to see, people physically raising their hands, but you can sense the level of activity. And again, I've said this many times. I apologize for repeating myself. But whether that stoplight, is a small light or a large light, or it's to use the measuring analogies, whether it's a tape measure, a ruler, or yardstick, it doesn't matter. Okay, and it doesn't matter exactly when it makes the turn. Right? This idea of people making calls there's certainly levels that the market proves that we should trust until broken, and that's the tub analogy. There's no doubt about that. But in terms of predicting, in terms of making calls, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I think that there's been a large disservice done in this industry, and both trying to educate traders, as well as getting so caught up on probability. I did a post, a few months ago, I think, on statistics. I think statistics in this industry are highly overrated. I certainly think that they are, that they are what they are. What's the old joke that 70% of statistics are invalid or something like that, right? And certainly it's best to put probability on your side. And they can help guide you. They can help you. How many times do you break the initial hour? How many times do you break the overnight high and low? But they can also do a lot of harm in terms of, it may do it, but it may do that by running down 10 points and up 10 points, and finally the statistic breaks. And especially with ES, it can chop you up all over the place. The point is, a lot of this doesn't matter. Setups, probabilities. The fact is, when does that light turn green? When does the light turn green? And being there when it turns green. And being there to give it some gas, and if it's confirming, that it's green, darker green, maybe, right? You give it some, you floor it. That's trading, folks. That's trading. And I've been trying to get back to the simplicity. I've been trying to get this point of simplicity across for really, I don't know, going on 15 years now in terms of the time that I've been at least in the education side of this business. People wonder, how can you be so successful? How can you do what you've done? How can you? It just doesn't make any sense. It's impossible. It's rigged. You're lying. It's not real. You missed this trade. You made it. You didn't trade this day well. Obviously, you're going to have days when you don't trade well. It's a matter of humanity and a matter of peak performance, and we can't always stay in that state. However, the point is, when I get in those stages, and we had a post a few months ago right on the yips, right? You just you boil things down. You simplify things, right? There's just simplify. All we're doing is going around a track. That's all we're doing, going around a track. And the focus is on the light, and when is the light red or green, right? That's trading. I've often said, all I want, for people to trade my capital, I want them to be highly aggressive, and I want them to be able to count to 3. And there are a few other things, ethics and all that kind of stuff, which are important, obviously, to me. But that's trading, folks. This business about calls, this business about levels, certainly trust certain price points until they're broken. All the stuff that you find on pages 1 and 2 of Trading 101. Prior support becomes resistance, trust until broken. All the stuff that I think is fairly simple, and it's so obvious that sometimes we care not to go there because we want to believe that we are smarter than the market, such that we can outperform the market, and that the market is some sort of complex beast that unless we're really smart with it, unless we really figure things out, we're not going to do well. When I'll have written on my tombstone at some point that it can't be farther from the truth, and I get aggravated and I get bothered because I think there's just a huge disservice in this industry. And again, I go back to the analogy of the racetrack, and teaching a person how to drive, how to maneuver the corners, how to manipulate the automobile, how to use the senses and get that feel, and how to gun it when it's there. Because that's certainly, when I finally figured that out, that's when my trading skyrocketed. It just shot up exponentially 10, 20 times. And that's what I'm trying to get across to people. I'm trying to get across the aggression, the ability not to be so concerned with being right, not so being concerned with whether this will be the time that something happens, not being really concerned with a particular level. But when the market does make that turn and the market does start proving it, you step on it. And it's that aggression that separates break-even traders from really outstanding traders. And again, I've said even I fall on both sides of that line at times. And it's typically because I'm not being aggressive. The worst thing that I hate is trading something that's so high probability I get complacent, that I'm not giving it its due. I'm on the bunny slope, right? I get, the best quarter I've ever had, 56-3. Wins and losing days. You could see the net result, the diminishing returns, if you will, kick in big time because I was on cruise control, I was on coast, and I should have been flooring it. I made a comment on Thursday or Friday, I think, on Twitter that I felt that was missing from my trading a little bit. And look, I know that there'll be a small segment of people that disagree with this. And again, I love you all. I respect you all. I'm just here to tell you that there is an industry out there that is built on models, that's built on commission fees, that's built on a whole lot of things that is in their business interests. And I'm not saying they're not good businesses, but it's in their business interests to complicate. And I'm telling you, folks, the stuff that I've been trying to preach for years, I've said many times, this is nothing that I've come up with. It's maybe a bit of a different way to say it through parables and stories and analogies. But what I'm saying has been there since, the first person stepped onto the trading floor. What is that market doing at that very point in time, and when is it time to go, and when is it time to stop? And based on what's happening right there, right then, I had this little bullet to the lower or middle right-hand side of the margin on this page that talks about, the general rhythm. And there's a big disclaimer right there. It basically says, subject to rapid market changes. The minute the market opens, whether it's ETH or RTH, extended trading hours, regular trading hours, again, you know how I feel about those terms because the market's really 24/5 now. And most of my income is made during extended trading hours outside of the 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is such a cowboy market these days. And again, we won't belabor that point because we talked about it. But whenever the market opens for business, it's so important to stay focused. And that's why really all my energy at this point in my career, when I know I finally get this business, it's all on focus, motivation, showing up, and execution. We added that fourth leg recently. Motivation, showing up. That's it. It really is, so that you can focus yourself on the stoplight when it turns green, when it turns red, And I guess one other area that leads to a lot of lack of focus is an oversaturation of information. And I think, as wonderful as technology has been, such that we're able to conduct this business from anywhere in the world without any travel and with very little overhead, at least in terms of technology infrastructure, it's also done us a great disservice in terms of splintering focus and just having so many things flood into your mind. I said before, I have a filter on all my social media, right? And it's rightfully so I can focus on my execution. I can focus on that stop line. Again, humanity is going to be such that we're not always on our game. We have to accept that. But whether you are right, if you want to use that word, or whether that sequence plays out for you, 1 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, folks, really. The point is that when it does play out, it does begin to play out, that you're flooring it. And now clearly, if you're trading, a single lot, nobody's going to make a business out of this, make an income out of this business by trading single lots. If you want to start there, fine. But first of all, find something that's divisible by at least 3. But you've got to learn the yin and the yang, the push and the pull, when to back off, when to step on the brake, when to push it. And really, that's all this business is about. That's all this business is about. And I think that came through loud and clear this past week. It's one of the reasons I enjoy doing this live, because I have to chuckle at so much that's been put out there. When this is so simple. It I don't say it hurts me, but it really makes me a bit distraught when I see people focused on the wrong things. People focused on the wrong things. This is a business where you don't have to be the smartest guy in the world. The people who have the greatest challenge in this business, in my opinion, based on experience and based on my own life, are people with initials after the name, people that want to understand the whys, the wiring of the circuit. I care that light switch goes on. I know when it goes up that the light comes on, and I know when it goes down, the light goes off. And I want to be focused on that light switch. I don't care why it's going on. I don't care if oil is driving ES. I don't care if Asia is doing something silly because it's just a little nuisance chihuahua that really doesn't drive the market except for on a momentary business. I don't care that the NASDAQ may be leading ES. It doesn't matter. We are trying to overcomplicate this business. Okay, focus on a product. Focus on a handful of products if you choose, but focus on one product. Get to know it well. I've said before, get to know it like your children, when they're tired, when they're cranky, when they should be left alone. Get to know that product and have a stoplight. Okay, F6, I have no business interest at all in this, that Peter Nannis programmed and Charlie Cochran helped move forward. It's my number one stoplight right now. The 1 minute chart has been my 1 minute stoplight. Certainly the hourly chart has been the track, if you will. But whether you're using an F6 or a smaller time frame or a 3-line break or any kind of a turn trigger at various support levels, that's it. That's really it. And it's a matter of executing that sequence and maximizing how much can you take out of that sequence. That's where the focus should be in this industry, folks. That's where the focus needs to be. And it's not. It's not. And again, I know that many will disagree. I know many will respectfully disagree. And I love you and I respect you for that. But this is not opinion. This is not opinion. This is fact. This is fact. When I if I'm talking to an Indy race car driver or NASCAR race car driver, I'm not interested in finding out what the statistics are in terms of how many people average a certain speed around the track and what it's done for them and what it hasn't done for them. Okay, because the probability, that the results of all that probability is the net result of each individual's ability to execute that pattern effectively. And there's going to be something, between 70 and 100%. Okay, in that case, for the most part. I'm not caring about that. If I'm in a race, right? If these guys and gals are in a race, their focus needs to be on execution. Their focus needs to be on driving the car. The focus needs to be maximizing the opportunity when it presents itself, whether it's because their competitors are in the pit, or whether it's because something's happening right as they're seeing it live on that road. That's what's important, because that's what's going to drive income, and that's what's going to take your income to the next level. All this other stuff, it's somewhat comical, frankly. It really is. Grab hold of, focus on the light. Focus on the stoplight, the signal light, whatever you want to call it. That's where I believe your trading will take off. And based on having taught for about 15 years now, actually a little bit more than that, that has proven itself time and time and time again. Okay, don't get so caught up in the complexity and the probability in 9 different scenarios that could happen. Doesn't matter which one happens. Okay, whatever you're positioned for, when you see it happening, go hard. Okay, words of thought from this end anyway, based on experience, based on millions of dollars of profits, based on a lot of mistakes I made before I figured that out. Think about it. God bless you. Take care. Bye.